Hey, what's up guys? Back again with another simple vlog. As you can see, I am again at the cross-country driving circuit and having fun on some gravel fire roads. Today I am joined on this little trip by Dethstep, who is borrowing Riding with Sam's DRZ400SM. What I wanted to talk about today was how everyone interested in motorcycles and riding should try riding off-road at least once in their life. Of course, on this trip I am riding a DRZ400SM with slicks, so it is by no means really meant for any serious off-roading, and I am not really riding anything tough either. However, for the kind of gravel fire roads that you are seeing me on, the DRZ as it is perfectly fine and capable of handling the terrain. The reason I say riding off-road is a must try for everybody is because it is such an accessible activity compared to most other kinds of motorcycle sports. Track riding on a super sport is incredibly expensive, not only for the kind of bikes that are going to be useful on the track, but also the gear needed as well as the logistics of getting to a track. I mean, if you consider it, trying to buy a full track suit that is going to be good and fits you is going to cost you anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 bucks. It's not cheap compared to just maybe a jersey for dirt riding. And then trying to get your bike to a track, it's several $100s just for the tow, for the petrol, the servicing in general. Not only that, to actually really enjoy the full extent of riding on a track, you kind of realize that you need a lot of skill to go fast. Because if you are not going fast on a sport bike, it's not fun. So, apart from tracking, or if you would want to do it illegally, I would say you can always do it on those twisty public roads, but I would not recommend it. Just stick to the track. There's also stunting. Stunting is also another activity that many motorcyclists are interested in getting into, but stunting is also another sport that has a very high barrier to entry, if I would say so myself. Modifying a stunt bike isn't cheap. It's an expensive endeavor because you need a lot of different parts just to make a purpose-built stunt bike. And it is kind of expected that if you are trying to start out on learning stunting, you are going to be expecting to fall all the time. You're going to crash your bike, and repairing all the damage that you get while trying to learn how to stunt gets expensive too. And actually stunting is such a high skill activity for many people that I would say it's not very fun for people that do not want to put so much time into acquiring that basic skill needed to make that activity fun in the first place. But riding off-road, be it on fire roads, on single track, double track, you don't need much of a bike to really enjoy yourself. You can be of any skill level. You can go fast, you can go slow, and it is still extremely enjoyable. You can get a cheap dirt bike that probably can't even break 100 kilometers per hour on the street, and it's perfectly fine. You don't need to modify dirt bikes much to actually make it viable off-road and make it fun. I'm personally not a very skilled rider. Taking 90-degree turns at 100 kilometers per hour isn't something I can do. Pulling wheelies and rolling burnouts only exists in my imagination. I can't do all these kind of things. But riding slippery dirt and gravel paths and sliding around corners at 40 kilometers per hour on a dirt trail, that I can do. It also hurts a lot less when you fall down along the way on your learning journey compared to street-based riding. I can safely say that I learned more about how to handle my motorcycle by practicing on soft, slippery terrain than I could have ever learned on the street. The slippery surface teaches you how to properly brake and maintain control and balance. Making turns off-road teaches you proper throttle control and maintaining constant power and speed. Riding off-road lets you make mistakes while you are learning without punishing you heavily. I've fallen plenty of times riding around this area, believe me. I've hit trees, I've fallen on the gravel ground, I've been flung from my bike several times. I have bruises here and there from these falls, but I've never gotten seriously hurt compared to all the accidents I've gotten while riding on the streets. And all those street accidents, I have gotten hospitalized before, but never once, falling while riding in the dirt. These mistakes also cost you far less in terms of money. You will hardly ever go very fast in the dirt anyway, and when you fall, the ground is usually softer than the streets. And if you are riding a dual sport, these machines tend to be rugged and cheap anyway, so you never have to worry about a mistake breaking the bank. Crashing your 40,000 litre bike on the track generally tends to cost a hell lot more, and everybody knows it at the back of their mind. That is why it's so much more difficult to let loose and push yourself further on the track compared to doing so off-road. Being that most of us here probably live either in a city or at least a denser suburban area, I'm pretty sure most of us rarely ever get to connect with nature, or at least some semblance of nature. Riding off-road, whether in Singapore or overseas or wherever you may live, is a chance for us to enjoy both riding a motorcycle as well as the adventure of exploring a rural area. The joy of riding off-road is also sometimes in its unpredictability. Every time you return to a trail you have been before, it usually changes in subtle ways. One day it could be hard-packed dirt, for example. On others, after let's say heavy rain, it is all soggy mud. The way you are going to tackle that course in these different kinds of condition changes. Even the fact that probably leaves may have blown down on the ground also changes the way you have to ride on that course. It makes things so much interesting every time you return. There is always something different for you to try out when you get back on the bike for another session. And you know how fitness buffs are sometimes addicted to working out, and you sometimes question why they would put so much stress on their body, tiring themselves out and getting aching muscles. It's all in that runner's high. You get on your bike and you ride continuously for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, half a day, what have you, whatever you can take. You start to feel the strain in your arms, your back, your leg. You get worn out and you get tired, but it feels awesome. You go home after a session around the back roads, hit the shower, and all of a sudden taking a nap in your bed feels like having, having a damn high time, and you could sleep like a log. That said, everybody's experience is a different one, and I acknowledge that. This may be your cup of tea just like it is for me. It probably also may not be for you, depending on who you are. We are all different people. But whatever the case, it is still something worth taking a look at and trying at least once in your life. Not everybody is able to own a dirt bike, I agree, or even able to find trails anywhere near where they live, especially for those of you who are like me. We live in Singapore and it's mostly a dense city, and pretty much all rural areas are state land, so there's not much trails, and it's probably difficult to find a trail near where you stay. It may not be necessarily a 100% feasible activity that you can do often, like riding a bicycle every week. So it could be such an uncommon activity. You could only probably do this every once a month, every twice a month, but it is still something worth taking a look at, and it's probably gonna be something that you can do more often than riding a track. I would say. But around the world, there are plenty of companies and guides that offer rentals and services catering to riding off-road of any skill level. So if I have to say so myself, it tends to be cheaper renting a dirt bike and a guide for a day session than it would be to rent a super sport and hit some twisty mountain road. So if you are planning to go for a overseas vacation, somewhere nice, somewhere rural, these are companies, these are activities that you can consider trying to do at least once in your life. It is worth it, I promise you, because this is how I got into off-road riding, and it kind of opened my eyes to how amazing the activity and how addictive the activity is by itself. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little video. I have definitely found something about motorcycling I am pretty passionate about, even though I may not be that great at it, and I admit that. And I would like to hear your thoughts about it. Would you like to get into off-roading in the future, or maybe sometime closer to now? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to support this channel, links are in the description below, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, bros.